So I'm Caroline Borgers. I come from Herent, which is close to Leuven, and I went to the University of Pennsylvania Law School. I started my studies at the Catholic University of Brussels, which is in, or used to be in Koekelberg, and then I joined the KU Leuven for my master degree, and then I met a lot of people doing internships who did an LLM, and I think they were all really interesting profiles, and it inspired me sort of to also do an LLM and get some foreign experience, basically. I decided to first to immediately go to the United States right after my studies, because it was easier for the application process, I guess, and I wanted to be sure to get it done, because I was afraid if I would work for, say, 3 years, I just wouldn't want to leave anymore. So I guess the choice for America was based on the fact that I wanted to be quite far from home, and in an English-speaking country, and America is just such a, well, it's a famous country for its educational system. It's something very different from Belgium, and I think the education is very privileged there, in that you're in small groups and very ambitious people who all really want to be there. So that was my decision for the States, basically, and then I decided to go to UPenn because of their cooperation with Wharton, basically, and the fact that I could take some classes of their MBA program, and I also did a research assistantship at Wharton. So basically it was a combination between law and more the business finance driven aspects of Wharton that attracted me to Penn. So I think it's a huge process, and I think only very motivated people will see it through till the end, which is probably the purpose of it. And I think it really forces you to think about what it is you want to do right now, what it is you want to do in the future, which is a good thing about it, obviously. And then I decided to apply to 7 universities just to be sure I would get into some of them. I applied to NYU, Northwestern, Duke, Penn, Cornell, Harvard, and one more, and I got into 6 out of 7, so maybe I did a little overkill, but you just want to make sure your efforts do pay off if you write all those letters and all that stuff. And I got a lot of support from the professors at the Catholic University of Leuven, some of them which I also worked for during my internships in summer, so I think they were a huge support also in telling me, like, what should I focus on, what should I value in an LLM education, and based upon advice of people who did LLMs and my own priorities, I came up with those 7 universities. I was very fortunate to have received a Fulbright scholarship, obviously, and a Rotary Foundation scholarship, and then I also got an honorary scholarship from the American Educational Foundation. So I'm extremely grateful, because without that funding I obviously wouldn't have gotten there, and then furthermore my parents assisted me. I took out my savings, and I also lended a little money. So I think the cost can't be underestimated, but if you really want to get there, in Belgium there's a lot of opportunities to get a scholarship. And I decided not to apply for university scholarships, but I know they're also out there, so that's a choice you'll make. But I personally thought it would negatively influence my application process, although I think, at least in the case of University of Pennsylvania, that's actually not the case, but I didn't know that up front. I guess motivation is a big thing for all of them, and also just you want to have a sense of purpose. They really want to know that you thought about what you want to do with your life, and like how it fits into your path you already have behind you. And I think it's also quite important to have excellent academic grades, can't be underestimated. And then in general, I think they also really value the fact that you did some stuff outside of school, like social activities, maybe did some internships, just to back up your file and to prove that you thought a lot about what it is you said in your essays. I graduated magna cum laude each year, so from the first till the 5th year I had a 116 out of 120 on my TOEFL score, and I interned at Clifford Chance, Ubelius and Linklaters, where I currently also work. I guess for Belgian people like me, it's quite important that you don't undersell yourself, you know, because they'll be getting a lot of applications, and if you are too modest, I don't think you'll get where you want to be. So I think at that time it's a good time to just leave all all modesty behind and go all out for the application process. And in general, I think they want you to be consistent and, you know, motivated, have drive, and don't be like all hesitating. And I think that's probably the most important. You know, I think people always tell you your LLM year will be the year of your life, and I was always like, yeah, but once you've been there, you really know it's like so true. I had the most awesome time in all aspects. Educational, it's just such a thrilling experience to be with all motivated, intelligent people who want to be there just as hard as you want to be there, and just people of all cultures, basically. I studied in a program with 100 students out of 47 different countries, so it's just such an enriching experience, you know, and people are all very positive, very optimistic. And then I guess the Wharton versus Penn thing also, or the law school versus Wharton, gave me more of a sense of what client-driven work, or how my client-driven work could be improved, what it is clients are looking for. It gave me the insight in the basics of finance, which is really required if you want to work for a business law firm, I guess. It saved me some time, I notice, working now. So, and I guess I interned at Linklaters right before going to the States, and immediately I knew that was the firm for me, because it's sort of a duplication of the atmosphere you get at an LLM. You have tons of very young, ambitious people from lots of different countries. People are very appreciative of your individuality, and so that's why my LLM year probably even makes me appreciate my current working life even more, because you realize how privileged you are to work in such an environment, to live in such an environment. So I would probably say don't hesitate to try, you know, because I think some people might think, I won't get in, I don't have the grades, I don't have the, you know, the required experience or whatever. But I think if you really, really want to get there, I think you should try to apply to more than enough universities, and then I think you'll really have a chance. I'm extremely grateful to all my funding organizations that enabled me to go to the States. I would highly recommend everybody to go to University of Pennsylvania, maybe combined with Wharton, and I would just recommend everybody to go to the States for an LLM. Eerst wil ik alle drie de organisaties bedanken die mij een beurs hebben gegeven, en ik raad iedereen van harte aan om een LLM te gaan doen in de States.